Hello and welcome to the SciFirst MovieTalk episode. So, in this episode I will be discussing Disney's 1989 masterpiece, The Little Mermaid. The 28th such animated classic which ushered in basically a new era for the studio. So, before I start, I want to give another big shout out to Trent Martin, who requested this review via my Facebook page, and for his continued support. It's been absolutely excellent. So many thanks for your suggestion, Trent. This is yet again another excellent pick. And again, for anybody else who's watching who may have a film they would like me to review, I would only be too happy to take a stab at it. Let me know. I'm not always the fastest, but I promise I will get round to it at some point. So, The Little Mermaid then. This movie is loosely based on the 1837 Danish fairy tale of the same name by Hans Christian Andersen and is directed by Ron Clements and John Musker. The film sees us introduced to Ariel, as voiced by Jodie Benson, a mermaid who longs to be among the humans on the surface and basically has her head always in the clouds, so to speak, much to her dad, King Triton, as voiced by Kenneth Mars, much to his annoyance and frustration. Ariel is very headstrong and independent, and one fateful night she encounters a ship in trouble on the sea and proceeds to rescue one of its occupants, Prince Eric, as voiced by Christopher Daniel Barnes, to whom she becomes enamoured, very much against her dad's wishes. King Triton becomes absolutely furious with rage and destroys Ariel's trove of human trinkets that she has been collecting and hiding away. Distraught and broken-hearted, Ariel goes to the sea witch Ursula, as voiced by Pat Carroll, in order to make a deal to be able to become human and have a chance to fall in love with Eric in the human world. The price? Ursula wants Ariel's voice. With her friends Sebastian, a crab, as voiced by Samuel E. Wright, Flounder, a fish, as voiced by Jason Marin, and Scuttle, a seagull, as voiced by Buddy Hackett, Ariel discovers a new world above the waves and comes excruciatingly close to the kiss of true love, which she needs to remain as a human, but is usurped by the despicable Ursula, having Ariel's voice to spellbind Eric into marrying her. So, from the moment this film starts, you can tell it's going to be something different to what we've seen before from Disney. It starts with a bang and has the feel of real adventure. The Little Mermaid is commonly stated to be the film that kind of kick-started the Disney Renaissance, a period of far superior and iconic movies which brought the studio back into the limelight. Many of which were award-winning, especially for their animation and their music, and kind of following a darker period for the studio after producing a slew of commercial and critical bombs. Don't get me wrong, I like a lot from that period too, but that doesn't escape the fact that compared to the films in the Renaissance period, starting with The Little Mermaid, the preceding films were not of the same quality and really did not resonate with audiences at the time they were released in just quite the same way. The Little Mermaid was something special at the time it was released and was quite simply a phenomenal hit for Disney, and set a new benchmark for their later works in the Renaissance period, which produced basically just some simply stunning films. Now, upon watching the movie this time around for the review, I'm going to be honest and say that my memory of the quality of the animation and the pacing of the movie was perhaps a little higher than it actually was. Now, that's not to say that it isn't still absolutely spellbinding. It's just that although the animation is simply superior to the movies which preceded it, you can still see that it does kind of take some of its style from those movies. It isn't quite yet akin to the more polished articles that we get with the likes of 1992's Aladdin and 1991's The Beauty and the Beast. And again, if I'm honest, just not as good in terms of animation as the ones that followed it. As the one that follows it, like 1990's The Rescuers Down Under. But I must stress, that's in terms of animation only. It also didn't perhaps flow as seamlessly as I once remembered, feeling a little clunky at times, particularly during kind of the beginning sequences. But, and it's a big but, the film is still absolutely mesmerizing, regardless of this. No way am I changing my long-time opinion on this one. Like many of the films in the Renaissance era, the film contains a number of absolutely exquisite musical numbers, with the likes of Part of Your World, still sending shivers down my spine each time I hear it. Simply wonderful. And of course, with the absolutely excellent Under the Sea, which has me singing along every time. If you have seen some of my other Disney reviews, particularly for Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast, you will be familiar with the team that produced the music and songs for this film. The formidable duo that was Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, which this film marked, I do believe, their first collaboration for a Disney movie. And indeed, what an absolutely magnificent start. One song I didn't quite remember as much as some of the others, but I actually thought was actually very good for what it was that sung by Ursula, Poor Unfortunate Souls, which I felt really captured the essence of Ursula as a villain, spot on. All of these musical numbers are just simply visually stunning, but leaving the best for last, the most exquisite of them all, and most magical all round, has to be Kiss the Girl. In fact, this scene overall, I think, is, to me, pretty much the first truly romantic Disney moment to ever grace the screen at the time it was first released. It is simply spellbinding, and although the number does contain elements of comedy, this is done in a really sweet and affectionate way, for the most part, which kind of doesn't detract from the ever-building tension and feelings between Eric and Ariel, as they move softly and slowly over a lake at dusk. Just quite simply the things that dreams are made of. In terms of characters, of course, Ariel is brilliant as the lead and fantastically voiced by Jodie Benson. But the show stealers, for me, they've got to be Sebastian and Scuttle. The comedy presented by these two characters is absolutely brilliant and really helps to keep the movie light, even through some of the darkest times, which really helps the movie keep its romantic tone, I feel. Scuttle believes he's an oracle for all things human, but couldn't be further from the truth if he'd tried, which leads to a real couple of hilarious moments when Ariel takes his advice on a few choice items. For me, one of the other characters that did stand out as a treat to watch was actually Ursula. As a villain, she was quite unique, evil to the core, but hid behind contracts and agreements, kind of using them as a real sly way to cheat her way to obtain the lives of those she purports to assist. To be fair, at the start, she does actually set out the rules nice and clear. She's not hiding anything. It's later when she becomes more deceitful. But Ariel knew the risks. She was simply too blind with defiance for her dad to see the overall picture and the consequences of her actions. So, overall, this is a truly magical entry from Disney and one that really set the scene for many movies to follow. With a fantastic story, great characters, exquisite songs, and a truly stunning, adventurous ending. It may not have been all that I remembered at the start, but boy, by the end, all of the admiration and emotion that I remember just came flooding back. So, that brings me to the end of this episode. Many thanks for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like. Please do consider hitting that subscribe button for more movie reviews, more trailer reactions, and more other movie-related episodes. But most of all, yes, thank you very much for watching. We've loved having you. Please do return to SciFirst MovieTalk. We'd love having you back. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.